that we still had. Tested out like Thunderbirds and other stuff, and it still works. All the tapes. A wonder, and yeah, especially after like 26 years or something, or like 20 years, that still works. That doesn't it didn't degrade it as much as I thought it would be, but hey, so that's fun.
All right.
Mhm. Beyond that, yeah, last episode was with the game devs from Garanta from Australia. So I had to do it in the afternoon. So neither of you two could be on because, for Qbhall, it's like 6 in the morning and you were busy with something. So,
Yeah, basically, I cannot join. Usually, maybe some other time it could be possible, but I don't know.
yeah.
It was like noon for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to prepare for lunch, basically.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Oh well.
Yeah.
Well, that went well. I mean, we talked about the game. We talked about how it all went. The basic plot for that is probably some AI has seen into a black hole and seen cosmic horrors and that kind of stuff. So he went on. So the AI went mad, and the main guy has to traverse this giant megastructure to stop the AI from destroying the universe or something like that. Yeah, fun concept, I guess. Haven't asked to him what garganta means. In Portuguese, it means throat. So it's like in porno videos, deep throat or something like that. I don't know if that's had anything to do with it, but garganta, I don't know. Something big, probably, that it means for the game at least, but no clue.
I think Qbhall is having technical issues. He
Yeah.
just said something on Discord.
Ah,
All right.
yeah.
So in the meantime, what have you done
What have I done?
since the last podcast? I mean, the last one was just a few days
Was last
ago,
week. Yeah, last week, Wednesday
last
was
week.
that?
hmm And the movie night as well.
Yeah, went pretty well. Just did almost 2 hours, and just talking about the game. Blame, obviously, because it's a blame-inspired game, so that works. So it worked pretty well. Obviously, just explaining some stuff and going on. Obviously, it's a bit difficult if you talk constantly to with two dudes you don't know, so you have to talk constantly to keep it going. But they were talkative enough, so it went well, at
I'm
least.
glad. And
Hmm.
so this is a game that is inspired heavily by Nihei.
Blame.
Nihei, like that, is now quite different compared to how he used to be when he did
Oh
Blanc.
yeah. Of course,
And
stuff
now
has changed a
he is
lot.
working on a fantasy series.
Yeah, Tower Dungeon. I know. Yeah, the first three chapters, or well, the first chapters are it's like in three parts.
Mm.
But it's
And
only
speak,
the Raws for now. Well, it's also in French partially, and then like 2 pages in English or something like that. Not much is out really, so I don't really know the plot. Well, I know a bit of the plot, but well, I can actually stream it basically. Wait, yeah, I can stream it. Let me see. Just the Raws. Mm,
by the way, Luca Comics, the convention in Italy is basically over now. And
Oh,
yeah, Urasawa was there, Furuya was there. People went there and stayed in queue even from the day before just to get a sketch and the signature from those authors. Not mainly Urasawa, because you have to buy a ticket and If you are
Right.
unlucky, you don't queue up for anything basically. But
Mm.
for Hiro Mashima, the author of Fairy Tail, some crazy people, which were a lot, really risked their lives to get a fucking signature. But like
Right.
with the rain and the bad weather,
Oh.
because during this period of time is quite common to see Luca with the rain and the wind blowing like crazy, and I don't know,
Mm.
just madness in my opinion. But
Okay.
nonetheless,
Okay.
putting this
Just for
aside,
a mid mangaka.
yeah, I mean, people would do crazy things for those mangakas, but
Mm.
there were announcements, and basically we are going to get reprints for Abara by Omega,
Oh. Okay.
and
Okay.
maybe next year, if we are lucky, Knights of Sidonia as well.
Mm.
Also,
Mm.
another publisher announced Leviathan, the manga,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
three
Yeah.
volume
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
series that we talked about. Basically, by them, it was the only decent announcement as far as I'm concerned. I would say that I am hyped for it, but I don't know if I ever going to get the release because, well, that is another story. But it wasn't too much that exciting, as far as announcement go. Maybe these other publisher announced that designers by Daisuke Garashi, the author of Children of the Sea. I don't know if you have seen the movie or read the manga. Daisuke
No.
Daisuke. You certainly know who him.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Basically, and well, that was a great announcement. Don't know about the other titles. Some are old school stuff, but we will see.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. 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 And did you get any signatures or just
no,
walk by and
I
just
didn't. Basically, Luca is held in Tuscany. Luca, the city, Luca Comics and Games, and far away from where I live. I live in Sardinia, so
mm,
there's the Mediterranean Sea, and yes, I could take a plane and go there, but unless there is like someone, like, I don't know, Hitoshi Shinano, the author of Yokohama Kedashi Kiko, like if he was there at Luca, I will do anything in my power to go
to
there
get there.
and see him, but what is going on? Oh, right. Yes, yes. Welcome back, Qbhall. Is everything okay on
Hope
your
so.
end? We can't
I
hear you. Oh, yeah, we can hear you
yeah,
now.
He's
I
alive.
think it's okay now. Yeah.
Hmm.
Good. 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 Good.
I hope I'm glad everything is fixed.
Yeah,
Mm.
it might be our to rural internet here.
Ah. Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is the new manga, right?
Yeah, the scans of Tower Dungeon, basically. It says it's like a bit of Dark Souls influences here with the king.
I mean,
You
if
see,
you
it's
are
just morphing into some other creature. It's like
show
really
this
weird.
about show this to someone who read only Blame back in the day, and say to them that it's the same author, and they will say to you, "What the hell? It's impossible. It
Yeah,
doesn't look
yeah, yeah.
like."
Some
No,
of the characters would look like Chainsaw Man characters for some reason, like the design for some
I
characters.
mean, certainly this is not a bad art, but it's nothing like the Nie. People love Nie for what he did
Science
in the
fiction.
past, science fiction, but also the style, all the blacks, the ink, all of that. And this is
Obviously, obviously.
nothing like it. I mean, Aposims was something more, way closer to the old Nie.
Yeah, Yeah,
and
yeah, it had
even though
elements in
even though
from
it
Blade.
was like completely white, all the panels were super white, but it has its own charm, I guess. But this one, I don't know.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, but the Postmistress was like in a snow world, so it was kind of logical that it was in all white, and it had a sort of net sphere in there at the end of the manga. Basically, the whole planet was that, like the core was that eventually. But
mm.
in this one, we get stuff back, like see the GBE, the GBE symbol of the front of this gun. It's also a symbol for this guy, so I don't know. Some symbols, even the safeguard symbol, comes back in the manga. It's just the basic plot for this. There's a farmer. He's really strong for some reason. Goes into the dungeon that fell a tower, a giant tower that fell from the sky one day, and the princess has been kidnapped by some creature, and he's going to save her. Basically the same as with Kaina, just saving the princess again, but I don't know what been doing, just playing too much Mario or just reading fairy tales a bit too much.
I don't know. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If his editors
I mean, as far
let
as I
him.
can see, Aposim's wasn't a success, right?
No, not really. No, it's like yeah, no, no,
Some
no.
some have said that he did poorly, actually,
He did what?
poorly. He did
Oh,
sale
poorly. Yeah,
wise
yeah, yeah. It did
or
pretty. Yeah, yeah. It was not a success. It was a bit rushed at the end, obviously, and the a big battle at the end was a big war. Was just was passed in like 1 or 2 pages where everybody just died and just here's an explanation dump and bye and that's it and it's about it and kind of was even less popular because it was so simple. It was not even funny at all how simple that was. There's nothing even for new fans. There was nothing to get from. I mean, it's a nice watch, but it's not something you would really recommend to somebody that's really into sci-fi or anything. And
Mhm.
don't know if it's gonna be sci-fi elements or it's just gonna be magic, but I don't know. For so far, not much technology has been in here, so
Have you tried to read it in a way or another? I don't know, using some
I haven't
software
translated.
or
No, I haven't used any. I haven't used Google Translate or that any or anything. I mean, some people on the Discord have tried, but it didn't really work that well. The translations didn't come out, and some guys have translated parts of it in French. Some manga decks right now. Then some pages in English, like the first pages, and that's about it for now. So it'll take some time to get a full translation in English. So far, a guy on the Discord had got these scans, put them in some files. I took over those files and posted them on Imgur and also on the Reddit all three parts, just as scans so people can flick through them or maybe use them for translate purposes. And the guy also want to translate themselves with another translate site with somebody that can help him with the bigger mistakes to get those out. But not sure if that's ever gonna be up. But it's probably gonna be translated. It's Nia after all. Why wouldn't you want to translate them?
yeah.
But so, Qbhall, what have you heard about Tower Dungeon newer works?
Uh, well, looking at it, I'm wondering if it's gonna have like a twist, you know. If it's I don't know if you have ever looked at theories about Game of Thrones, Koma. Years ago, there was a video that was speculating if there was some science fiction element to the fantasy world. I don't know if you ever talked about that.
No.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting because looking at the ending that we got, it didn't turn out to be true. Um, assuming that the real ending is anything like that, but um, they pointed out that they've been talking about timelines of 8,000 years since the first men to now, or something like that. I remember it was thousands and thousands of years, and they were saying that it didn't seem that technology had progressed in all that time.
Also, because it's like thousands of years in the timeline of Game of Thrones. It's just not a couple of centuries. It's like even more than 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. So
right.
It's a lot of time.
I thought it was interesting that they pointed out that it didn't seem like technology had advanced at all. Like, I mean, look at the real world. If you're talking about thousands of years, you might have expected something more, and because it looked like those people from thousands of years ago in the world of Game of Thrones have almost the same level of technology as now. There was, if anything, they had more.
The thing is more about old Valyria. Old Valyria was like a powerhouse of magic and power in general. Like they had an army of dragons that they could screw anyone basically from the sky, and no one could challenge them. And we know little to nothing about how they destroyed or why their civilization was destroyed by the doom of Valyria. I don't know if Martin will ever cover that in some spin-off one day or something. I mean, granted, he has already way too much in his hands. If we expect him to at least finish the Winds of Winter and anything else he's doing right now with HBO regarding the TV series. So I don't know. It's interesting to think that given how many years since the lore has started to be created, the technology remained like that, but the world he created is so huge. There are entire continents that we never explored at all. Like, I don't know, there's this continent where there are supposedly like dinosaurs roaming around, or lizard man. It's like Sartorius maybe, or something like that. It's like close to Valyria, but not quite there. I don't remember the map of A Song of Ice and Fire, but
there's one place that always mentions, and it seemed more magical than the rest. That was Yeti.
Yeti, yes.
Yeah. That was
and they also have in Ashai another version of the wall or something like that, basically. And it's like something like the long night happened in Essos at some point many years ago, like the legend of Azor Ahai that was mentioned in the series. It came from that region and that situation. Like, I am doing a poor job at explaining things because like I'm doing it like out of the blue, but I bet this is all stuff that you read at least once, no, or not, Qbhall?
Oh yeah, I probably read it maybe 3 times, but audio. Well, the reason I bring it up is that I think that this will, it appears like fantasy, but I think it has some science fiction elements in it too. And also, I know Nihi likes a lot of body horror, and I definitely see a lot of that with this king here transforming.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The settings is more like a never-ending medieval world with the magic that is lost at the time of A Song of Ice and Fire, but it was important back in the day when Valyria was still in power, and there are so many mysteries that go beyond Valyria itself that we don't know. We know nothing about, but probably technology is something that Martin didn't think of, even though he did some short sci-fi stories back in the day. I've read one many years ago. It was part of a collection of short stories he made along with the Ice Dragon novella, and I don't remember the title, but it was about people on a long voyage inside a spacecraft. I don't remember anything more because I read it like in 2010, and it was a short tale. But still, Martin did sci-fi before. I think he likes sci-fi, and if he thought to implement sci-fi within the series, I'm sure he could do it. He could have done it. But as far as I can see, we have no reason to believe that there is any sci-fi.
I was actually talking about this comic here, not Martin. I was talking about this Tower Dungeon.
Tower Dungeon, yeah. I
I
mean,
was saying that I think that it will have some kind of, or it might have some kind of sci-fi element in it. You know,
I mean,
Martin
look,
at the time those theories were popular, Koma. We didn't. That was probably around season 3 or season 2. So we never went anywhere else. You know, it had a lot more unexplored, and we obviously didn't have the ending. You know. No, I know that the ending isn't supposed to be you know, however, yeah. What 1 second, please. I had to deal with something in real life.
Dogs. But yeah, I mean, this tower really does look like. I mean, it's literally leaning on nothing, like a bit of, it's leaning on nothing. So that's probably has some technology in it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not completely full
like the Babel Tower.
Yeah, kind of. And the
Like,
bridge that does me think about Shadow of the Colossus, like the lens in between.
Have you played Xenogears ever, like the PS1 game?
No.
Basically, it's a fantasy mixed with sci-fi that started out as a sci-fi game, but because of reasons, it's like a mixture of things. But I don't know. Qbhall, you have heard of Xenogears, right?
Oh yeah. I'm not brave enough to play it, but I looked at a lot of lore videos about it just because of the interesting ideas that it has.
You are not brave enough to play it?
Yeah, I have some difficulty getting back into JRPGs and especially complex systems. Like I tried Vagrant Story recently, and I mean the world and stuff is interesting, but it's impenetrable in some ways.
I don't know about Vagrant Story, but Xenogears is not that complex to get into. I mean, the annoying part maybe is that it is an old school JRPG with the encounter rate. So you move around and you stumble upon a fight even when you don't want to fight because you are trying to, I don't know, jump over and you find yourself in battle. So that is annoying nowadays, and you don't find the encounter rate like you did back in the day now. But if you can get past that, and the fact that, of course, it looks retro as fuck nowadays. I mean, it didn't age well in that regard, but the story is very, very good even now, and probably the best JRPG concept ever made to this day. People really want to get their hands on a remake done well, but I don't know, because the original one is such a classic that why would you bother to play a remake just to replay it and see it differently? I mean, it could be useful for also given the themes. It's difficult to port maybe to do again, and it's also very long and complex. I don't know,
Mm.
but
Uh,
try to find the courage to start it and play. I mean,
Mm.
it's like 50 hours maybe if you want to do everything
the
100%, maybe more, but if you have the
what
time, it's a good idea to.
one of
Yeah.
one of the things that people wanted the remake for was so that they could properly kind of realize the second disc, which a lot of people say there's things that happen in it that should have been dungeons and gameplay that they did in cutscenes or they did in exposition dumps, uh, that kind of thing. And I know
Mhm.
that they were supposed to kind of um, not remake, but finish it in a way or reimagine it with Xenosaga. But I think even that had some
Yeah,
problems
yeah.
with the launch.
Xenosaga was basically okay. Let's start this over from square one and try to change a few things and see if we are lucky enough. But they didn't. It ended up. I mean, they were able to release 3 games, but they didn't complete it 100% as they intended to.
Mm.
Also,
Yeah,
Xenogears was like one of the many games that should have came out, but never did. It was
Yeah.
too ambitious as a project.
Yeah. 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 I mean, here you have some blackback. And here the zombies don't look too hot. I mean, I think in Biomac they looked better, they had more detail, were less sketched. Well, they're still a sketch, but that's just
I'm
a lot
seeing
more
like
detail.
undead people here, undead knights.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot more Dark Souls stuff than anything else. I mean, with Kaine, it was already with fantasy, with the armor, the fighting, the kingdoms, the princess, etc., etc., etc. But even before that, even in Blamen had some fantasy elements in there. Like with Sue, for instance, that was he was already in full armor set with a sword and etc., etc., etc. Later on in Biomac, like in the second half, they had a sword fight and that kind of fantasy elements. He already had fantasy in him for like really a long time, but it's been
I,
a
I,
while since.
uh, I think he likes to draw that stuff, and I think he liked that stuff in general. And
Mm,
he's not the only one that you're thinking is a sci-fi world that it wouldn't have this kind of stuff. But I sure Dune, they came up with a reason as to why sword fighting was still relevant. I think they said the personal shields that could prevent projectile weapons like guns. It didn't work against swords because the swords was too slow. So that is why that they invented a reason as to why would people still be fighting with swords and have armor and stuff this far in the future. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
mm. I
Uh,
mean, for Dune, I only saw the movies and never read the books. So I'm just not that deep into it, but
but yeah, is you could always come up with a reason, and the main reason is that it looks cool. That is why they did it. At least I
yeah,
think so. Um,
I mean, yeah,
it's a
and
little
I
more.
mean,
I think it's a little more personal too. To have people close to each other fighting as opposed to like a guy just send like a remote bomb or something. You don't even have to see the guy. But when you have to really grapple with the people, it's like
yeah,
it's a
that
little
works
more.
better. Yeah,
You want to see it. You want to have your two antagonists and protagonists or whatever. You want to see them together. I think.
yeah.
You
And here
know.
we see the safeguard symbols again. And that really is a universal thing or just like reuse stuff, but it's kind of the same thing. It's repurposed as where is it? Here, this soldier, for instance, at the safeguard symbol. So it's kind of safeguarding something, so it's kind of the same purpose without matter. Being in a giant megastructure, having something to kill you in infinite numbers, basically. Even the shield has it. And he's completely in black, so hey, that's a nice touch, I would say.
I think we talk about Tunic the game last time, Koma?
The game? Can you
Yeah.
repeat?
Tunic is the game with this is a game with this small fox, and it's kind of like it's similar to Zelda, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, Tunic, Tunic.
all right. Yeah, I remember we
Yeah,
say something about it. So,
yeah. It kind of reminds me of this, and I think it in the way that it's medieval, but then it also seems to have like a weird twist. You know, like I think like technology or advanced civilizations kind of started sneaking and stuff, and I feel like I've seen some stuff like that here, and there was a little bit of science fiction stuff in Game of Thrones, like there was and it was cool the way they did it. It was kind of always hidden. They had the mace that I was bringing people back from the dead as zombies, with whatever bizarre technology he had, and they didn't really show too much of it, But I thought that I was interested in that, like this is something that can be done in our world, and they're doing it here, and they kind of keep in shadow how exactly it's done, I thought that was a smart way to do it, because like if you put that totally on screen or on the page, what we're gonna see? We're gonna see like a medieval science lab. Well, that might actually be kind of cool, but I thought that was an interesting way to do it. Like the certain things he likes to keep slightly hidden, if that makes sense, or a little bit off screen.
It's like I don't know, maybe an alchemist lab within a medieval castle, perhaps.
Yeah.
When you find
get some-
strange, weird machineries.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I guess it's best to leave it up to imagination, because I always wonder about, what could he have done, What would this even be like? Yeah, look at this. This is looking like some kind of body horror thing. This is like the den of the alien here, with people stuck to the walls and turning into aliens. And
Yeah, kind of
Look
like
at that.
in Sidonia with the Ghana.
Yeah,
Just
what the hell is happening
yeah,
here? Look at that. Yeah, you see, is
just
definitely body
sucking
horror.
up bodies for its own
Ah,
power
that's
or
cool.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and look, that guy is like busted in half. He just like the top half of his body is devoured, and the bottom is kind of being sucked in. Right?
Yeah,
It's like
it's just a massive grave for this creature or whatever the fuck it is. Looks more like an insect. Like here's their head with the tentacles coming out. That's more like a body, and it's just the head here is just fake or something. Like it's a gun, like copying its host or something like that. And he just took down.
yeah. What would it be like to have Oh, sorry about the noise. I live near a big probably the biggest contractor in Trinidad. So they always. I can't do too much about that. Yeah, but yeah, what would it be like if medieval people came into contact with
creatures like that? Well, they will be
yeah,
fucked probably.
you
If they had no clue of defeating it.
You know what I
with
remind you of?
stuff they had.
You ever looked at you mentioned Demon Souls and stuff, but you ever looked at From Software's previous games, Shadow Tower and Kingsfield and all this kind of thing?
Yeah, I've seen some videos about it.
Yeah.
The stuff they made before the Dark Souls trilogy, etc., etc.
Yeah, they're really the same vibe, because you have medieval kind of people, but then they're fighting, stuff like that. And what the hell are you going to make of that? Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, before I forget, there's something I think you guys should check out. Scavenger's Reign. Maybe I heard of it. I saw trailers going around.
Scavenger's Reign. No.
Yeah,
Not heard about it. What's it about?
It's about this these people colonizing this planet. Is actually a Western animation. They come to interact with the life there, almost like they've studied it, and it's like a whole bizarre. It's kind of almost about. Well, there was an initial short that they made that got really, really popular, and then it became a series as it is now. That was just called Scavengers. But the idea in the original short, I could share it in the chat just now, in both chats. But if you Google it and check out the trailer, I think you'll check it. Scavengers Reign. There's yeah, but the interesting thing is just seeing humans interacting with like a totally alien environment. Like there's a lot of anime set on like there's not a lot of anime, I should say, where stuff feels so alien. I think Kaiba is one of the few of them. Like this is really an alien world that we're going through.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah. Because like a lot of anime has monsters and stuff, but it doesn't feel alien like that. You know, it doesn't feel as alien as that. It feels like it's not as bizarre as it could be.
No. I mean, this is a pretty thick alien. I don't know, is it female or something? I don't know.
I think well, I get the idea. It's just kind of copying what it's eating in a bizarre, like a twisted way. Then, because I don't know if you ever read a lot of alien theory, but like apparently the alien changes depending on the host.
Yes.
Yeah, in Sidonia, that's the case. Yeah, anything that eats, it just copies
Yeah.
it. Even the mechs themselves are being copied. It just and even the weapons and whatnot just copy everything they come in contact with. At the end of Sidonia, it was revealed that the master brain of the whole operation was just this giant library of the universe. It just had all the info. And the main bad guy wanted to get that info to fix all kinds of things, bring back people from the dead, just know everything. But it had to go down in order for the humanity that you have now to survive. Yeah, this is more like Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah, like that.
even if the
That
head's just
that big
hanging
guy
off.
on the shoulder remind me of that guy from Resident Evil 2. I think you know who I'm talking. I
Mm.
like that. I like that he fighting this thing with a sword. Well, getting a sword in the eye, I think that's like a universally bad thing. So
Yeah. No. Uh, hmm.
yeah, I surprised nobody translated it yet though.
I mean, they're probably busy with it, or just it's not that popular at the moment, so it just
Oh yeah,
really needs to get traction because it's just chapter one, so it's
I
like,
mean, still, it's Nye, so weird.
yeah, it's new after all, but it's kind of becoming more niche. Like he
yeah,
started out niche, ended up niche.
yeah.
Scandination groups are lazy as fuck nowadays. If this
Yeah,
came
and
out
not
like
a
10
lot of
years ago,
people are doing it
if
anymore.
this
There's
came
more
out 10 years
people.
ago now, it would have been already translated.
Mm. Yeah, and on top of that, there's more people reading manga nowadays than actually translating. Like back in the day, there was like equally the amount of people that are reading it, equally the amount of people that translating it, because there were lots of fans that just wanted to get their mangas translated or their anime scanned, and so they have all kinds of fan groups. But nowadays, thanks to COVID and last couple of years, anime and manga has become so popular. There's just more watchers than really any translators. So yeah, that's also that. On top of that, that stuff doesn't really get done anymore. There's so much stuff coming out, so it's just like what to pick. But yeah, if I was translating, I would pick this than the other crap that's out there nowadays.
Yeah. I also forget that Nihe he's popular among us, but he's not super
No,
widely known
no,
otherwise.
it was with Sidonia, was popular, got in the mainstream, and after that, you just got off the map again, and it's just no, you didn't make anything noteworthy or something like that the masses would really be interested in.
I mean, his most celebrated manga was still Blam or Blame.
That was his, that was his magnum opus. It's a niche thing that not many manga have done before, so that's why it got that kind of
The
reputation.
Blam is the favorite manga of PewDiePie. PewDiePie, the YouTuber.
Yeah. He's recommended it. I know.
He
This
did a
Fitz,
video about
he's
it.
also a fan of it. So yeah, people
I
got.
find it funny because it was like completely random. Because we all know that he used to be a manga fan and anime fan more than 10 years ago. And so a few years ago, out of the blue, he decided, oh, let's talk about my favorite manga, even if my content is
Yeah.
about
I know.
something
It's the
completely
reason why
different.
I got in the damn manga. I mean, I knew already Blame and whatnot, but I was never really interested. Just saw of it, like, let me buy the manga.
I wonder how many people read Blame or Blam thanks to PewDiePie. That is a good
Oh
question.
man. Well, I don't
What?
know too much about him, but I know he have like a boatload of followers, so he might have gotten at least 10,000 people to just look at it. Let me say, you know, because
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
it most people
got
wouldn't
lots
look.
of people. Got lots of
Yeah.
people in the Discord that they had from PewDiePie originally.
Oh, that's
But
amazing.
yeah, you know, I mean, if your newer stories are just like, not really catching the eye of anybody, like kinda because it is so goddamn easy, or just not that noteworthy, or just kind of rushed or whatnot, then yeah, people are not really getting on with it, or just keeping to the old stories, which I can get, because up till Sidonia, that's like his best stuff, obviously, his most interesting stuff art wise too. So obviously everybody went on those old stores, and the newer stores are like, what is it even? Can I eat it? It's not really that interesting.
Yeah. I
Strange.
wonder if I don't wanna make anybody write or continue to write or draw anything that I don't feel like. Maybe they thought that maybe Nihei thinks he's done everything that he could do with that particular subset, of because even those two the last two that he made, one the Kaina and Opossums.
Mm,
I think they were straying a little further um from what people know him for. But
yeah, yeah.
I want to see what they say about this because the art is probably a little closer to Blam than Opossums, which was is weird. People didn't seem to like how it had so much white on the page. There wasn't so much black like there used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Um,
Snow World, so they got extra white for that one, basically. And for
yeah,
Kana, it's basically just anime, so you don't really have an idea on how wide it would be. Well, I mean, for the manga, well, it had a manga, but it was done by another artist, but still pretty wide, so I guess it was really wide. And it's also like a snow world, because it's kind of like of the great snow sea, so yeah, it would probably be really wide, but I guess less wide than Opposimus in that regard. But yeah, what was that other series that you're talking about?
which one? Sorry, what was it?
Yet another series, like with something like
Oh,
Kaiba, some eating world.
oh yeah. Check out I sent it in the Discord. I could send it here if you want.
Yeah,
Um,
do that. Yeah, it's easier.
yeah, you could. Yeah, check. Look at there in the YouTube chat.
Mm. Don't see anything. Probably do it in the Discord. That's probably easier.
Yeah, well,
Oh
it's
no,
already
it
in
is in
Discord.
there. Never mind. Never mind.
Yes, this is the original short. No, I don't think they necessarily knew that it was or made it with the intention of getting a series, but it it it, it seemed to have blown up so much that uh you know, it got the attention of somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you can check it out.
Signatures.
It's really
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. Wait.
Well, I mean, in a way, it might be the series, like, they probably had to make it a little more
This one,
conventional.
right?
Let's see. No. It's not a game, you know. It's a
Oh.
it's an animated series.
Oh.
But is there on YouTube? Sorry, is there on the Discord and in the YouTube chat?
Oh yeah, I see it in the Discord.
But if you just type scavengers on YouTube, it'll be the first thing that comes up.
Okay, well, yeah. Don't know how this thing will do with video, but I can try. But yeah, let me see.
Because those robots were originally created to help recover the world, to heal the world.
Yeah.
And they went haywire. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Fantasy Star series, but Fantasy Star actually has like a lot of that kind of stuff too.
It's like the concept of an artificial intelligence that goes amok and is not in control of its creator, and after thousands of years, the demise of the civilization that created the intelligence, the being is still alive somehow. There are many examples in fiction of this, in many games, novels.
But what I thought was interesting is that the fact that it's similar to a lot of things that we like, you know, like Blam. It's so far in the future that people forgot the original purpose and forgot that this was even a system that was in place. So there's nobody there who could understand it.
Yeah.
You know, nobody could even fix it. You know, or interact with it. You know, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, in this short, it's more like a bit more Mobius. It just goes from one place to the other, and it just goes on and on and on and on. It's more like a world like that. It's just, as colorful as it become. I think it's mostly inspired by Mobius, like the storytelling visually.
Now, well, Mobius is totally like they had to tie it down a lot more to even get to this point. You know, with Mobius, we wouldn't know what the hell is happening.
Have you read Incal by Mobius?
Oh yeah, that was like that was a ride. You know, that was a lot of times I didn't know what the hell was going on. But I mean, I think all that is part of it. You know, this kind of dream logic, I guess. Where a lot of stuff kind of just happens and it's difficult to